Alright guys, my name's Stanners. I'm a part-time FBA and eBay seller. I'm doing this with a full-time job and a young family, so don't expect much, but this is a bit of a progress update and we're just into the first of the month, so it's the 1st of November, well in the way of Q4. This is a bit of an update as to how I did in October, so looking back on the last 31 days it'll be. And to be honest, it's not quite what I was expecting. I was expecting more, so I'll put that out there right at the start. However, diving right into the numbers, we've basically matched almost to the pound our sales for the previous month, so September. So we have £3,573.93 in sales. This is all on FBA I'm talking right now. I'm not doing videos on the eBay side of things because I'll be honest, the numbers of that just confuse me. I haven't got like the seller toolkit equivalent for eBay, if there even is such a thing. So sales wise, I'm happy with that, don't really care, but the biggest number really is the profit, isn't it? So the profit is just over last month by 9.3%. It is £847.60. So yeah, we did what's showing as 109.3% of the previous month. So I'm happy with that, I'll be honest. If you asked me a few months ago, even if I could do 850 quid almost of profit on Amazon, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So I am happy, but yeah, I expected the growth to be a little bit more than that. I'll talk about perhaps why that hasn't happened in the near future or later on in this video. In terms of units, I'd sold 62% of the previous month's units, so 105 units in total. So I think the month before that, I think I'd sold about 170 or something like that. So it's quite good that, or it shows in a way, if you work around the maths, that I'm selling sort of higher ticket items, so I'm not as scared of buying things that are a bit more expensive anymore. So I don't have to sell as many units to make the same amount of profit, so I guess that's a good thing. However, of course, what comes with that are returns. So if I do just get one return of an item that cost me, say, 65 quid, which did happen this month, and it gets returned, then that's a bit more of a sting than a £3 eyelash brush or whatever it is, with the smaller cost goods. So the ROI is bang on, and it was similar to this month before, 50%. So that is a stat I am really happy with, especially in this early growth stage. I know a lot of the bigger sellers won't be looking at return on investment because they'll be more focusing on margin, and looking at mine, it is 23.72%. But with little money at the moment, compared to some of the bigger sellers at least, if I'm spending £100 and making £50 profit after fees on Amazon, then I'm very chuffed with that because it'll just mean I can grow more and more. So I will, in a second, just talk about sort of what's to come, because I'm looking at Seller Toolkit as we speak. I'll try and post a link for that in the description if I can remember, which I'm sure I won't. But I don't know whether to be proud of this or not, but previously when I was looking at my sort of total volume of goods in Amazon's warehouse, or the cost of it, I was getting to a point where I was trying to, I was comparing myself to other sellers, and I saw that they had, say, £30,000 cost of goods just stuck in Amazon, waiting to be sold. And I almost thought, I need to up my game, because I only had, I think it was about 4,500 or something like that. Currently, my total resale value of goods that are in FBA warehouse is £8,669, and it'll be more than that because literally just 10 minutes ago UPS picked up a bunch of Lego and a bunch more Scrabble, which I've got a good deal on lately. So probably add another 500, 600 quid on that. Can't do the maths off the top of my head, but it'll be somewhere around those figures. So the caveat of that, and the lesson I've learned as to why you shouldn't be comparing yourself as to like the total volume of stock that you've got in your warehouse or in Amazon's warehouse, is there's literally no point, because until it sells, you've not got that money in your pocket. You could be sitting on items for a year or two and you're not making any money with them if they're sat in Amazon's warehouse. If anything, after 6 months or so, they're going to be costing you money in storage fees. So yeah, I won't be really focusing on that metric, although it's a good idea to see or keep an eye on it, because at the end of the day, your account could get banned if you're not playing ball, or Amazon being Amazon, they can just section 3 you for things that have happened certainly in the past few months to other people in similar groups that I'm in. So yeah, I won't be paying a close eye on it or getting hooked up on that, but it's good to know I have a fair amount of money whacked up or locked into Amazon at the moment, the ROI that it's given me on that, bearing in mind this is projected until it sells, it's not real, is it? But it's 105%. So my total cost of goods for what I've got in the warehouse at the moment, or in Amazon's warehouse, is £2,819. So that is really low, and some of that will be due to the fact that I'm sort of holding some of my prices quite firm for the next couple of weeks anyway, at least, just so I can maximise on the sort of Christmas Q4 profits, people buying things last minute for over the odds. So if I'm holding out on price, my reprice will so won't be playing ball, and we'll be just sticking to my minimum, which at the moment for quite a lot of my stock is above what the item's currently sat at, but I'm banking on the fact that those prices will go up. So I'm quite happy with the facts, and also the fact that my total unit cost is quite low is partly down to some of the things that I've been buying. So obviously, this is not an advert for Profit Sweep, but I'm part of Profit Sweep Discord group. Their price monitors, especially for, join it and find out for yourself, but for some of the online retailers that they've been putting up have just been nuts recently. So to give you an idea on the Scrabble, I mentioned that a second ago, I think I got 71 units of that in total. I wish I got more, but yeah, the price dropped down, I think it was 90%, down to £2.09 total cost of goods. I think that includes shipping, correct me if I'm wrong, otherwise it might just be, add 20p to each unit. They're going to be selling, and they already have been selling, for around £23, so the profit on those is nuts. So I'll be honest, the total return on investment on my total stock in Amazon at the moment showing 105% is probably quite accurate. If I can get anything like that in the future again, I'd be absolutely buzzing, but I think I have just been a bit lucky with some of the price drops that I've managed to catch this month. So I've been sending a lot of things in, happy about that. In terms of sending things in, I haven't actually been using a prep center, partly just because I know I've sort of shunned myself and not using one before, but I've got a little bit of a good system going now, and I am, it's early days with finances. So if I can save a bit of money on prep, especially 50p an item, which a lot of the prep centers charge, then I don't mind. I've got a bit of a good system now with UPS coming to collect, so I sort of know when they're coming past the unit. I'll book a collection in for then. And today, for example, I rocked up to the unit at 3:30, so half an hour ago. 15 minutes later, they turned up and picked up all the stuff. So the timings are sort of on point. I kind of wasn't doing that previously because I didn't know. I thought I'd be sitting in all day, and I did do that a couple of times and just wasted my time. So in terms of prepping, I've got it down to not a fine art, but it's definitely been refined lately. So another reason as to why, I'm just making excuses here, but it's a bit of a thought experiment for me, and I don't quite care if anyone watches this video, but if you've got any thoughts, do comment, or if you've got any questions. But just so I can look back in the future and sort of think about my thought processes and see how I could have improved, how I could have done better at the time. Hopefully in a few years' time, I'll be looking at these videos and laughing at how rubbish I was. That's the idea anyway. But in terms of, I keep whinging about, the business not having any money and why the growth hasn't been as big as I thought it might be. So to answer that question, partly it is because I've been holding prices. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know, there is merit to get stock in and get it out as quick as possible. But it's my first Q4. I definitely don't want to tank prices. But if there's a high chance that I'm going to be getting an extra, £3 per item, which on a lot of the stuff that I've got is quite likely because it's sold at that before, and the seller count is going down. So on some of these listings, I am, one of the last 20 sellers, say, where it was at 100 odd. Then it's worth that wait in my eyes. And hopefully, if I'm just making, I'm really happy with it, but if I'm just making, say, £850 a month, and then in November, December, I'm making upwards of £2,000, which ideally is what I'm aiming for, 2k profit in December. Whether I'll do that, I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I'm rambling on a bit, I do appreciate that. But in terms of finance as well, I did mention it I made a TikTok account, and I had a little bit of not of a whinge, but I went for a walk and posted a little video saying that there was loads of good leads coming in, and I'd spent all of my money. I say my money, it's a limited business. So yeah, my cash flow was pretty poor on that day, and there were plenty of people on there saying, why don't you just sign up for Amex? I won't go too much into it, but I can't sign up for Amex right now. One of the reasons being I'm trying to get a new house or get a mortgage in the next few months. So if I'm signing up for credit cards and getting declined, then that's not going to be very good. The mortgage advisor has even suggested I don't apply for credit right now. The other thing is, it seems like a bit of a scary time to be leveraging, quite so highly, because I know there's a lot of people that have got Amexes out there, and sorry if you're listening, this is rubbing it in for you, but I could quite easily go and spend, I don't know, 5k a week or something, I've no idea, even more on Amex or another credit card, and then the account gets banned and I'm just left with a massive bill. And bans, as we've seen recently with the Starvana or whatever they're called, it's not out of the question. Personally, I've not bought anything from that site, but who knows what the next one will be. Everyone starts out from somewhere, and I've definitely not done everything perfectly. I've not done anything dodgily, but who knows? So I don't mind this at the moment. I'm putting my own money in. I've borrowed a little bit of money from family. I'm not going too crazy with it, hoping to sort of reinvest the money that I make over Q4 into the new year. So I could be growing much quicker, and I do see people where they're showing videos, whether it take it with a pinch of salt, but they say, oh, it's the second month in or the third month in and they've just hit $3,000 in profit. Well done for them. I'd like to say I'm jealous, but I'm happy with where I'm up to doing it with my own funds. And also in terms of just managing cash flow with Amex and things like that, I know people joke about it, but if you've got a big Amex bill to pay and you're sitting on a load of stock, then the chances are you're going to want to crash the prices a little bit. So I'm quite comfortable just using cash as it is, holding out on prices. Whether I do this forever in terms of holding out on prices and using cash, I don't know. Amex would be nice, but it's just another thing to figure out for me. And although I've been doing this, 9 months now, since February or something on Amazon, I still feel like I've got loads to learn. So I'm enjoying growing at the pace I'm growing. Would I like to earn more money? Yes. Would I like to spend more money? Yes. But there's new things that I'm learning with Amazon FBA every day, so I'm not going to throw myself in too deep. And the fact of the matter is, I can't get an Amex card right now. So there you go. I think someone did ask that on TikTok, so there's your answer if you're listening. So I think that just about wraps it up. I will just mention as well my eBay account. I've been doing eBay for like 15 years or something like that, maybe 14. I've not always been that profitable on it. I've not always put that much effort into it, but last month, I think it was sort of the first few weeks of last month, I started to list loads of stuff that had just been sat around, and it's certainly helped. Don't know what the exact profit is on it, so if anyone's got a sort of seller toolkit equivalent for eBay, let me know, because it would be quite handy to figure that out. But yeah, these sales came up to, I think in the last 31 days, it shows me here, is just over 2,000. So for some months, especially recently, that's been sitting at around 1,300 or something. So quite happy with that. Every little helps. So that sort of at least pays the bills for the unit and a few other things. And then Amazon FBA money is just sort of getting reinvested into Amazon. It's not an exact science, but there seems to be more money in the bank account. Cash flow situation seems to be getting a bit better, which leads me on to the fact that, or connects back up to the whole Amex and borrowing money situation. I'd be more comfortable borrowing money knowing that I've got money, if that makes sense, or at least knowing I've got money, and if I'm just a bit short and I want to there's a really good deal out there, I'd grab it. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be getting into the habit of just spending all my cash and or racking up a big Amex bill, because it just leaves you with little option when sales are slow. And we've certainly seen just over the past few months of doing this that you can have some slow weeks, you can have some really good weeks, but you don't always know when they're going to come. So I'll wrap that up now. We're just coming up to about 15 minutes. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below. Follow if you want to see next month's progress update. So hopefully, I am hoping for certain that we'll be getting over $1,000 in profit in November. But yeah, I'm aiming for middle of November to sort of middle of December to be maxing out my sales, hoping that's sort of going to be the best period for me. Whether it goes a little bit further to Christmas, I don't know. And then it'll just be a big sort of re-evaluation of how this year's gone, although it's not been a full one. We started in February, and how we can improve things for January onwards. So yeah, comment if you've got any questions, follow the account if you want to see more of this ramble. So yeah, see you in the next video.